Hey y'all, hey. Welcome back to another episode of Meditations with Marini. And I am outside doing a little fun stuff. I wanted to share a couple of things with you guys because I'm going to talk about it. I don't know, somebody next door is beating on something. So you guys see that? That's a tulip. And I want you to look at the base of the tulip. See the bulb and those components that are coming out of it? I got to get these in the ground as well. Typically when they start drying out like that, it's because they got to get in the ground. Those came from last year. This is what you call an annual. So you see how cute and pretty it is? So these right here are annuals. All those pretty little flowers, that's a tulip right there that I put in there. And I'm going to talk about this in my session. That's why I'm bringing that to y'all attention. That's my rose bush. And as you can see, I have mulch. I had my boys to put the mulch out here because I'm going to redo my flower beds. And I'm really big on, I love the outdoors, and I love for my yard to look really nice. So I'm coming over here because I'm going to show you guys. Uh-oh, it fell over on top of it. Oh God, it's a lizard. Oh God, y'all, I love the outdoors, but I can't stand the bugs. Oh my God, and that's a residential lizard. Like, they come back every year. Oh my God, these right here are what you call annuals. And I want to talk about annuals versus perennials in your life. Wait, let me, so y'all can see how crazy this is. I do not like bugs, y'all. I mean lizards. The lizards, they come and they love my house because it's, you know, they like a cool spot. So you have to make room for them. But y'all weren't supposed to get that part of me. I screamed like a girl, didn't I? I am a girl when it comes to that. So I wanted to, and I want to show you something else because I really want to make a point when I do this video. So I'm going to turn this back around for a second. So right here, these are lilies. They look like they're just green flowers right now, but in a couple of weeks they're gonna have a bloom on them. And then if you can see right here, this is what's called an elephant ear. It looks like it's either got tampered with by the deer. The deer love my yard, and I've been over treating my yard, guys, because I had so many weeds that the weeds had kind of taken over, so I did an over treatment. So it's really brown and crunchy, but that's okay. In a couple of weeks it'll look good. These are my elephant ears, and guys, they're gonna be like, by the time they finish, they're gonna be up like by the size of that window. And these are lilies as well. So even though they're green right now, in a couple of weeks they are going to have a bloom on them. These right here will have like an orange color bloom, and those over there will have like a yellow bloom. And that back around so we can chat for a second. And I want to talk to you about, I want to talk about relationships and friendships. There go that lizard, y'all. What? I'm not gonna be, this ain't gonna work for me. We're not gonna be able to share this space. Okay, I know I could cut all of that out, but I don't. I like for you guys to see the authentic side of me and how how I really am when I'm at home. I don't do the lizards. I'm gonna have to put down some lines for real. And I wanted to chat with you about I'm scared. There it is right there, y'all. I want to talk to you about, you have perennials and you have annuals. And annual flowers are flowers that they're really cute, they're really pretty, and they bloom only one time. After they bloom, they're gone. They don't come back again. I don't plant a lot of annuals because annuals, they're less expensive in their cost factor. So most of the time, if you go to a nursery, you can usually get them for $1 or $1.50 each. And I usually like to purchase my items at a nursery as well. But if you go to like Home Depot or Lowe's or a Pike or Ace, typically they're gonna have them for like $1.90, $2 per flower. So they're fairly cheap. You can get many of them, and they're really pretty. When you put them out, they bring a good look to your curbside and everything. But I use them like in my pots, as you guys saw. I have them in the pots, and I do that because they are not going to be sustainable in order to be able to come back the next year. When I want to plant something that I want to come back again, I am going to plant a perennial. I like perennials because perennials are hardy. They are able to withstand the weather. They can go through a storm and they are going to come back again. And when you think about an annual, for instance, those that you guys just saw where one of my bags of mulch fell over on top of it. It rained, it stormed yesterday, and so I'm thinking that the storm may have pushed that bag over on top of it. And those may or may not survive, because just because they took that little hit, the bag fell over on top of it, and now they might just die off. Whereas if that had been a perennial, the perennial would have been able to take the abuse. Well, I don't want to use the word abuse. It would have been able to take the hit, and it would have then been able, I could have cut that down with a pair of scissors, just chop it right off, and it's going to come right back because it's able to withstand the storm. And so I kind of want to talk to you about, are you an annual or are you a perennial? What type of person are you? What type of friend are you? What type of person in a relationship are you? Are you the type that you are pretty, you look good for a moment, you're inexpensive in what you need or you require from the relationship, but you don't have any substance? You don't have the ability to withstand the storm. That's good. So when you also look at an annual, they are good and they serve their purpose in what they have to come to do. They come for a season, they look pretty for a season, and then they are gone. But if you're a perennial, you're in it for the long haul. You're in it for the long term of whatever it is that relationship is going to have. So the other thing with the perennial is that you can move it from one place to the other and it's going to be able to withstand the move. Sometimes with annuals, when you move them too much, they're going to die on you because the root structure of that flower is not deep. It's not broad. It's very shallow. And so the root structure cannot withstand the storm. Whereas a perennial, the root structure of a perennial, it can withstand the storm. So today I was just thinking, because I love to work in the yard, but I don't like to keep planting the same flowers over and over and over every year continuously, just because the flowers that I planted before don't have a root structure. So typically in the ground, the other thing with a perennial is a perennial has to be put so far down in the ground. An annual, you can sit it on top of the grass, or you can sit it on top of the mulch and just cover it up a little bit. And as long as you keep watering it throughout the season, it will pretty much make its way to the end of the summer. But a perennial, you have to dig a deep hole. Usually it's 3 to 5 inches, and after you dig that hole, then you put it down in there and you cover it up for a season. So during the winter time, a lot of times if I'm going to plant perennials, I will plant them right before the fall comes in, and I will plant them, and they will then go through the winter storm, they go through the cold, they go through the rain, they go through all of those different elements, and then all of a sudden when the springtime comes, you see it pop up out the ground. And what we have to look at is what type of friends are we putting in our lives? First of all, what type of friend are we? What type of person are we? Are we an annual or are we a perennial? Are you somebody that can withstand the storm? Are you someone that can go through the hard times? Do we have to dig? If y'all that listen still over there, if a circumstance comes up and you come into that element with a situation, Does your friend or your people have to be worried about whether or not you're going to be able to withstand the storm? And so when it comes to relationships, relationships are not easy, y'all. And that's whether it's friendships or whether it's parentships. Like right now, me and my oldest sons, we having a few bumps in the road. And we've had some before, but I've shared with him recently that you have to be able to be in a situation where you can still communicate. So just because you have a disagreement with your parent, with your brother, with your sister, whomever the relationship is, you still got to be able to go back and make sure that that relationship is good. Now, that's if it's a relationship that is to continue in your life. Now, if it's somebody that you need to have removed from your life anyway, maybe it's just time for you to prune that. That's the other thing with working in the yard. You have to prune. Like I'm going to go through here, my rose bushes, I need to prune them a little bit because I like for them to grow a certain way. I don't like for them to just be wild and just all over the place. So I prune them a certain way. I cut them a certain way. So when they grow in a certain direction. That's the same way we have to cultivate our relationships. We must make sure that we are pruning, that we are fertilizing, that we are looking out for the lizard that's over there on the side. He's gonna work my nerve. He just sitting there like, lady, I'm waiting on you to move. And I'm sitting there like, I'm waiting on you to move. But what type of circumstances are you in with your relationships? And as I was saying, my son is learning. He's learning through me how he is going to deal with conflict resolution when it comes to him in any relationship that he's in. He is learning that if I can work through this with my mom, then this will teach me how to work through this with a relationship that's outside of her. My younger kids, you know, when you ask your children to do something, they don't really want to do it. Don't nobody want to clean up. Don't nobody want to take the trash out. Don't nobody want to get the food off the counter. Nobody wants to do that. But as I shared with them, in us building a relationship, what it says to me, if I go to the grocery store and I get the food and I bring it home and I cook it, what it says to me in the relationship is that if you wash the dishes and you put them up, it's saying to me that you appreciate me for making that sacrifice. And so as you look at the springtime coming, what things in your life might you need to prune? What things in your life might you need to make some adjustments to? What things in your life might you need to say, let me cut it back? Sometimes you don't need to cut it all the way down. Now, with the lilies that I showed you guys, those right there, every now and then, because there's so many of them now, when I planted those, that might have been maybe 4 or 5 little bushes. But because it's a perennial, it's going to multiply up under the ground and it's going to bring forth a root structure that's going to continue to grow. And sometimes you have to go in and weed them out, because what happens is underneath there, the roots begin to compete for the fertilizer or the nutrients that's in the ground, which means that at that time it won't produce a bulb. It'll give you, say if it normally would give you 3 flowers, it might only give you 1 or 2 because the nutrients are competing. But sometimes you have to go into your personal life and prune some people out. Like, what things are absorbing your fertilizer? What components in your life are taking more time than what you should be given to it? I don't watch a lot of TV. I have not watched traditional news in probably almost 4 years. If it's not 4 years. That means like a regular TV coming in the house every day, turning on the news while I'm cooking dinner. I have not done that in 4 years. So I really can't tell you what's going on in the world. Like sometimes people say something, girl, you didn't see it on the news? I didn't, because I haven't seen the news. I don't listen to the radio in my car. And a portion of that was I found that I just could not continue to absorb all the negativity that was going on in the world and then still maintain my ability not to take that in. So I made a choice that if I don't see it on Facebook, or it doesn't come up when I open my computer to a Google page or, Microsoft or something like that, then that's just something that I'll have to hear from everybody else. But sometimes with your spring cleaning and your spring planting, you have to prune as well. And pruning doesn't mean that you're destroying it. Pruning means that you're just cutting it back, like you're getting rid of the dead portions so that it can then grow and be more healthy. So as you continue to move forward in your relationships, and one of the things that I know I'm looking at is I'm cutting some relationships. I'm building others, but I'm cutting others. And then sometimes with the pruning process, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to cut all of it back. You might just need to cut off a portion of it. You might need to change the direction in which it's going to grow. And so just take today and kind of think about that in your spring cleaning, in your time of making sure that you do some things that are beyond what is the norm. And I really wanted to kind of show you guys, you see that, I think I did this in a previous video a few weeks ago. I think it was when I was talking to the men about, matter of fact, it was probably one of my very first videos when I was talking to the men. But those sprouts that are coming out of this, now the sprout on some of these have dried up. And that's because I never did put it in the ground. Like once a perennial begins to grow, you have to put it in the ground. It has to be put in fertilized soil. Or at least, even if you're going to put it in this hard Georgia clay, which I would not suggest, I would strongly suggest that you use some type of potting soil or miracle grow. If you're going to put it in that soil, you need to cover it up. And then you need to water it. You need to fertilize it. You need to give it a little love. You need to talk to it. Let it know that you appreciate it. And guess what? It will produce for you every time. So as you think about yourself, think about whether or not you are more like an annual with very little to no root structure. You're pretty, you can serve a purpose for a short period of time. Or are you a perennial? Can you withstand the storm? Can you be moved from one location to the other? And can you multiply and cultivate the environment that you're put in? That's powerful right there, because everything and everyone is not meant to multiply the environment. Now you should, if you're part of the environment, it should add something to it. There should be either an addition or a multiplication that goes forward with it. But if you can't, then can you at least be an annual and serve a purpose for a season? If you guys look back, I did a video on a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And people are sent into your life for those three things. Some people are sent for a reason, some people are sent for a season, and some are sent for a lifetime. You just have to figure out which one that you fit into and which one that other people fit into. So this video didn't go as good as I wanted it to. I wanted to be outside with y'all and give y'all a different environment, but between the lizards and the bees, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this again. I'm gonna have to let that go. So you guys, I want you guys to please click like. I want you to share it with a friend, and then I would love for you to subscribe. All right, have a good day. Bye. With me and the lizard.